Test. All right. What's up, you beautiful traders? Happy Friday to you. Glad that you decided to stop in and take a look at the cryptos. Big moves this week. Last week, I closed my live stream out with a little warning for people to be careful. And I didn't exactly expect this to happen in Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean, honestly, my short got stopped out a few days prior. I'm just going to admit that. But now we're going to see what happens. I'm not bearish on it. In fact, today I'm going to talk about my long-term bullish projection. We're going to look at the cycle high using a logarithmic chart. It's something I visit every once in a while, and I think it stands to reason to go through it and see, what's going to be the potential cycle high and low. Also want to look at the Ethereum trade, which stopped out this week in profit. And also I got asked by some folks in a Bitcoin Maxi chat to explain my short of MicroStrategy using first principles. And that got me thinking. I'm going to share that with you as well. So hang out, and I'll be right back after the music, and we'll get into it. Also have some symbols ready for me to look at, and we'll do that too. See you guys in a minute. Do, 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 do. All right. Welcome back. Let's get started. So last week, like I said, I ended on a little cautionary note about Bitcoin, and that's generally I'm kind of a risk averse, I guess, in my old age, and I've just been through all these cycles, literally all these cycles going back to 2011, and I've just seen them all. And at any given point, you need to take the price of Bitcoin, and you need to attribute a potential 70% correction over the course of the year, over the course of the cycles. And that's the price that you need to kind of have in mind. Now, a lot of people were saying when it started going up to passing 100, the common thing, I do a disservice to myself. I like to hang out in Bitcoin social spaces. I say disservice because I'm always kind of the contrarian, and they don't like me very much. Or I think they like my presence to laugh at when it goes up. But I really want to keep my finger on the pulse of the sentiment as a trader. I want to know what people are saying, what people are doing. And the sentiment going into last week. And by the way, we're going to talk about Ichimoku today when it comes to Ethereum. I'll get into that in just a minute, why that's going to be important. But that's why I have it on the chart. But when it basically broke 100 a couple of times, most people figured that, hey, Bitcoin is going to go 6 figures, and people are not going to be able to buy it again. You'll never be able to buy a whole Bitcoin again, was kind of the meme from last week. Because it's having over $100,000 just to spend on magic internet money. Not many people can do that. And plus, they all expect that each Bitcoin they own, if they own a full one, is going to be worth over $1 million. And that's, or more than, let's just say, the price of a standard house. And who's going to go out and spend a house? What average person is going to be able to do that? And so that was the meme going into it. And here we are back at below again. So you got to be really careful with what people are saying about the sentiment. And I pay really good attention to that. It's not a perfect indicator, but it is one that, as a contrarian, I value very highly. So as usual, if you guys got symbols to look at, make sure that you put them in the chat. We'll get to look at that in the last part of the live stream. Like I said, today we're going to look at my logarithmic chart for, basically projecting where's the cycle high going to be. I'm going to start from scratch and go through it with you guys. This is my analysis. It's based on, the past history of the cycles, the halvening cycles. And I think we need to look at it right now. We need to kind of understand as we're getting close to that cycle high. Now, a lot of people, they don't want to believe it because they have grand projections for whatever multiple of Bitcoin. But the reality is, the history tells us that we're kind of coming into the last part of the cycle, whether you look at it in price or you look at it in time. These halvening cycles, they have certain kind of regular heartbeat patterns that Bitcoin goes through. In fact, let's just go ahead and make that chart right here. Make a copy. Let me do make a copy. Let's call this Bitcoin logarithmic 3 because I got 2 prior ones. We're going to do this fresh for you guys. By the way, if you think you're going to like this and you've never joined before, go ahead and give me a like. And if you have been following me, give a like. I want to see how that does to our numbers. I really don't care, but I like to know that this information is getting out to people. So help me with that algorithm, if you would, please. And then if you do like it after I've given you my analysis, definitely leave a like and subscribe if you would like. All right, so let me just give a preface. I don't trade off logarithmic charts, but I think they're good for analysis. The reason I don't trade is because the things that I trade based on 50% retracements and volume profile, sometimes Ichimoku, they don't work well on a logarithmic chart. And also when you're day trading or you're swing trading, basically short-term trading, they're not really useful for finding levels, but they're really good at looking at things over long periods of time. And that's, of course, Bitcoin or stock market, that kind of thing. So we're going to go to a logarithmic chart, and we're going to switch to a monthly. And we're going to be able to encompass all of Bitcoin into one single chart. This is used, by the way, I'm using the index off of TradingView. And you know what? Let me just record this of TradingView. So give me a second. Oh, they got a little button down here. That's pretty nice. All right. I think I'll do that too. I'll record this TradingView. Yeah, I think I'll do this in 20 minutes. All right. Got to do my thing. We'll do it live. One take, because I can't edit. All right, let's see. Record video idea. And by the way, we're also going to look at Tesla today as well. Today I sold some not puts, calls. Ooh, not before I can sleep. I hope not. All right, here we go. What's up, traders? It behooves us to take a look at Bitcoin today and project, as people like to do, the cycle high. And I'm talking about the halvening cycle and the cadence, the heartbeat of Bitcoin price highs and lows as it has done over its history. I've got this that I've gone off of for quite a while, but I'm going to redraw it for us here just to go through the thinking process and what I mean by the cycle high. And I'm going to use a logarithmic chart for this. Now, I don't trade off logarithmic charts because I don't find them very useful for short-term trading, but they're really good at looking at things on a long-term basis. And I just saw that TradingView added a little button right here for logarithmic toggling, so that's pretty nice. Otherwise, you can go to here and do logarithmic, but we'll use that. Okay. So we're going to go to a monthly chart. What that's going to let us do, and we're using the Bitcoin index, by the way, the the TradingView built index, is we're going to be able to put the entire history of Bitcoin on the same chart. Now, another thing that kind of sucks about logarithmics is you kind of lose, your lines. Like what I'm going to use here is I'm going to use angle lines. Let's see. Did I use? Hold on. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to find which one I use. It trend angle. Yes, that's what I want. Okay. So the first thing that we can note is if we look at a logarithmic chart, is that Bitcoin's highs are going up. We all know this, right? And the lows are going up. We all know this as well. But there seems to be a couple of things we can see with our eyes. There's certain convergence going on. The highs are going higher, but they're going higher at a decreasing rate. It's a little bit of an inverse exponential that is going on. And so what we want to do is we want to kind of chart that. And the way that I prefer to do it, because I don't have a little fancy thing I can do to draw this perfectly, is we're just going to take a look at the highs and lows, and we're going to take the angle of those and kind of do a little bit of simple arithmetic and kind of project. Again, we're just speculating here. That's what we're all doing. That's why we're here. We're here to bet on the future, and we're going to do it the best way that makes sense. And so that's what we're going to do. Now, of course, if we go to a non-logarithmic chart, we can also validate that as well, because if we look at the cycle high of 2017 and we look at go up to here, we find that it was 248% of a difference. Now, if we go back in time to the cycle high of 2013 and we take it to there, it was 1,497%. And if we go back even further, back to the cycle high of 2011, which I happen to actually experience, that was fun, buying Bitcoin at $15 and seeing it go all the way down to $1.99. Stupid magic internet money. What was I doing? Oh wow! But yeah, from 3,700% to 1,400% to 248, and so. Yeah, it's decreasing. And why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Well, I mean, it's just very simple as far as math goes. Bring up the calculator right here. So market cap. So there's 21 million Bitcoin. A little bit less now. It's getting close to that. But let's just say that the market cap is 21 million because I want to figure out exactly what the number is. But so 21 million times current price is about 96,000 roughly today. Close enough. That is a $2 trillion, yes, $2 trillion market cap. Okay, so what is 10 trillion? So 10 trillion, the price of Bitcoin would need to be about $476,000 essentially. Right? Did I do that math right? I did. I did not. Okay, anyway, that's close. That's close enough. So, math is not my strong suit. Sorry, guys. So, but yeah, I mean, so that's basically what it would need to be, and it takes a lot more money to go from $1 trillion or $2 trillion, as the case is, up to 10 trillion. It just does. I mean, it's a lot easier to go from $10 million market cap up to $100 million than it is. Hey, what's up, Stone Pilot? And so that's what is kind of going in the face. Now, there's all kinds of arguments out there for why this is going to be different this time, blah, blah, blah. Finance loves those this times is different, but let's just look at what we can see so far. All right, so we're back on our logarithmic chart, and let's do our angles. Let's see what has happened up to this point. So we're going to take the angle of the 20, from the 2011 up to there. We're going to also take the low. We're going to say it was this low right here back in January, not the little double dip there. We'll just kind of, again, we're doing a lot of assumptions here, but we're trying not to, we're trying not to get too complicated here. To 15, and that cycle high, which is up here, and then that cycle low, which was about down here, and FTX. Okay. So what do you see? See what happens when you move your logarithmic chart? Things change a little bit. So you got to try to be consistent in your changes here. Any change will do that. It probably would be fair enough to go through and do it on a regular chart, but this is going to be satisfy us for this projection if we're drawing these lines as it is. So we need to draw one more line. So let's go. Did it again. Sorry for that noise, by the way, too. All right, let's do this. We'll put the whole chart in. That's actually what will make it consistent, because if we do this, it's not going to change too much. The angles. Sorry, that's what I did wrong. Okay, we're fixed now. It's not going to change. It is going to be static. It's not going to just be arbitrary. I thought those numbers were kind of wrong anyway. Let's see. Yeah, now we're getting the numbers that I had on my chart, which is consistent. You have to have the whole thing in so it can do the logarithmic projection because math. All right. So from here to here, we need to solve for x. All right. What is the x value, or there's some variable here for these numbers. So again, thoughts on the Fed rate decision? We'll get to that in just a second. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I'm recording. So 43 divided by 15.81. You got a factor of about 2, okay? They can't kind of cut in half. And then 15.81 divided by 2. Again, that's what it basically was. And then let's see, 15.81 divided by 7.58. We get another factor of about 2. And so on a logarithmic chart, we're getting it's halvening, essentially. What do you know about that? It's basically a halvening cycle. So 7.58 divided by 2 would give us an angle of about 3. Oh, crap. Come here. There we go. Gotta get that right. Again, logarithmics. 3.79 to the next high. All right. So I should also note, let me go cheat a little bit and go grab these halvening cycles from my other chart here. Okay. So we can kind of, there we go. All right. So these are when the halvenings have happened. Okay. And so also we need to look at, let's do the low too. So the low factors, 30.37 divided by 17.37. That's about 1.7. And then 17.37 divided by 9.78 is about 1.7. So pretty damn close as far as these things go. It's almost getting very, very mathematical if you kind of think about it, which is weird. And so 9.78 divided by, divided by 1.7. Let's call it 5.58. Okay. 5.58. And where we put that's going to be important. So if we look at when does the cycle high happen after the halvening? Well, the first one happened about 13 months after the halvening. The next one happened 17. And then the next one happened 18. Okay, so let's just kind of round that up to 16. And so from the halvening, which happened in April this year, 16 bars is basically going to put us at August of next year, mid next year. And again, we need to have a 3.6 roughly to here. Boom. Okay, 3.5. 3.6, roughly. Okay. So according to this, we're getting kind of close to it. All right, and then the cycle low was in this case about 26 bars, 30 bars, 32. So we'll call that 30 bars to the next low. And so what we'd ideally want to project is that we might see a cycle low about 30 bars. And so the low for Bitcoin, if we are speculating, is going to be sometime in October of 2026 at around close to, depending, $38,000. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but at any point in Bitcoin's history, the minimum drawdown it's going to have is about 70%. And so anytime people are telling you, like, you got to buy Bitcoin, you're going to miss out, just here's what you should do. Actually, no, hashtag this is not financial advice. You do what you want. Set a limit order for 70, a trailing limit order for 70% off of the all-time high. Tell you what, do 60%. Do 60%. And be patient. Now, if it makes a new all-time high, move that up. Just keep moving it up. It's fine. That's what you can do with your time as Bitcoin makes new highs. And at some point in its downswing, it is going to hit it. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen exactly. But there's two things that you have to remember. Or two things that people usually have simultaneously, no matter what they're doing. They're usually bullish on stocks, but they think it's going to crash. They're bullish on Bitcoin, but they think stocks are going to crash. Either way, people do presume that the stock market is going to crash. And we've never really gone through a stock market devaluation of a major kind, like 2008, a multi-year one. But we've had a couple to look at, including COVID, where the stock market fell about 35%. It was about 35%, whereas Bitcoin, in the same period, the COVID crash, it fell from high to low about 60-something%. So basically double. And then, of course, we had, the whole 2021 and so on, or excuse me, 2022, which was also another big crash. So Bitcoin is a risk asset. It's going to respond in that way. So if you are patient, you're probably going to end up getting that number. All right, so what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that we're kind of starting to come close to this cycle high. Let's look at it a different way. So if we just take the numbers, if we just go from the all-time high, do what we did at the beginning, then we'll wrap this up. Give me my thing. There we go. So we go from here to here. That was, what was it? It was 1,400% of a gain. And we look at from the, actually we should do this one, sorry, April 13. I was ahead of myself. Or is that the cycle? No, it was 2011. Yeah. We're using the 11 to that 3,700, 1,400 to here. So, and a lot of people argue, let me steel man their argument, that now that you have Michael Saylor basically engaging in financial manipulation, engineering, whatever you want to call it, exploiting game mechanics to pump the price by buying up all the supply, basically trying to create a cornering of the market, as it were, like what the brothers did back on the silver squeeze back in like 100 years ago. They tried it and got blown up spectacularly. Guess what? They were also using leverage products. They were using futures, but futures are still leverage. So the percentages of gains are starting to go down. So where are we right now? Well, we're at about 52%. Is this really out of line for the diminishing returns? I don't think so. But keep this in mind. And if you're concerned about missing out, FOMOing, just remember you will get an opportunity. This is a highly volatile asset. It's not going to run away from you faster than you can catch it, like people try to tell you. The people that say that to you, they are deeply, deeply, deeply invested, and they want you to buy their Bitcoin at a higher price. So, hope that helps. Just my opinion, but it's what we can see from the data. Trade wisely. All right. Thanks for sitting through that. Hope that's helpful. Go ahead and get in your symbols that you want to look at here in a second. So, and then I'll look at mine. What do I think about the thought of Fed's decision? I'm going to be honest, Igor. I go on what they say they're going to do, and I just don't. I don't think that they need to keep lowering. In fact, I think I read that there's talk that they're hawkish now, and I kind of forget sometimes what that means, but basically it just means they're not going to cut anymore, which makes sense. I don't think that. Let me say this a different way. I think 5% interest rates, base rate, or what are we at right now? Hold on, let me look. Let me inform myself. What's the speculation? I actually, I know it happened this week, and I'm a finance person. I should know, but it really doesn't factor into my decision making that much. I think it's a number that people can objectively talk about, so they do, but I don't think that they're going to like CPI. Here, let me just bring this up. I mean, yes, it makes the markets move, but they move based on what they think the Fed is going to do. And so, that's U.S. So U.S. Did we have CPI this week? No, that's for other countries. Okay, so basically, yeah, we're at 4.5%, and yeah, we lowered to 4. I mean, I just don't think that they need to lower it any more than this. I think people want them to. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm surprised they even are lowering it as it is. I think they're just under so much political pressure. If I was speculating, because people want interest rates to be low, because man, that was a wonderful time if you could take out loans to take out money for mortgages or even cars or buying cryptocurrency. Though that was a great time back then. But what is it? This. Do history of federal funds rate. I mean, we're just gonna look at this, and over the course of many years, I mean, going back to the 50s, I mean, you had the 80s, which was really trying to fight inflation because it was really, really bad. But this is normal. Like if you took an average of the last 70 years, 5% doesn't look all that bad. I think that what people are making the mistake of doing and thinking that it has to be lower is they got locked into this period, which is really a whole generation of excessively low, ridiculously low interest rates, and they want it to go back to that because those were some happy times. You favor free market interest rates? How would that work? Or does that require a long explanation? Because that sounds complicated. Do you have a book on that? I'll promote it for you if you do. I'll let you answer that. Yeah, you're typing, so I'll let you answer that when you get to it. So yeah, interest rates are priced. The market would determine. The Mises Institute. Okay, I'll read this. I would like to hear an opinion, a principled opinion on that. Okay. All right. Speaking of principled opinions, which I'll read in my time, let's talk about MicroStrategy. Now, I got into it today with some big MicroStrategy bulls, and they are Bitcoin bulls, of course, because they love what Michael Saylor is doing. Just as a recap, Michael Saylor is issuing convertible bonds. What are convertible bonds? They are bonds which don't pay out in money, they pay out in shares. They convert to shares. And so what people do is they give Michael Saylor money, and then he gives an IOU for shares of his stock in the future, effectively diluting his future number of shares, because he kind of ran out of the ability to dilute his shares just ad hoc sometime earlier this year. That's what he was doing. And he, of course, can't get any financing in the standard market because all the crypto-backed banks that will touch crypto all died or have been told not to touch it or are afraid to touch it. And so this is what he's doing now to get cash to buy Bitcoin. He's effectively trying to corner the market of Bitcoin, which is, I get a lot of criticism for this, but is the Silver Thursday. So there is a time in history called the Silver Thursday where the Hunt brothers tried to corner the market of silver, basically buying up all the silver and trying to, squeeze all the shorts, run the price up. But they got a margin call, and it all went belly up for them. This time it's different, no matter who you talk to, because that's one of the most commonly used and one of the most dangerous phrases in finance. But it's basically the same thing, because the supply of silver was more or less limited. You can't go out and easily mine more of it. It would take some time, and so you can corner it. And the supply of Bitcoin is also limited. Although I do have to say, more like, yeah, let's see, where is that? Let me find this. Oh, so this was a post that was basically was a video made by BlackRock, which, is, of course, something else the Bitcoin maxis are ironically cheerleading. Ironically, I say, as a libertarian that got into Bitcoin for those reasons, was going to be something outside of government and corporate control. And now everybody's cheering that the corporations are buying into it because it's going to lift their bags. So who cares about making humans more free, right? As long as I'm rich. That's the mantra now. Anyway, so Saylor even shared this. It basically says there's no guarantee that Bitcoin's 21 million supply cap will not be changed. Well, that sucks, because that's the whole premise that Bitcoin is based upon. Now, can this be done? I'm told by people way smarter than me, the answer is no, that you can't change the code, or at least you need more than 51% of the mining to make that happen. But still, it just kind of like, if you're throwing out there this kind of stuff, I mean, maybe it's for legal reasons, maybe it's for reasons of liability. Their lawyers made them put in that, yes, the code can be changed, even if it's hard, just to make it simple for people. Maybe, but it's very contrary to the message. It is. It's very against, the message from years ago. Now the message is whatever makes the number go up. But anyway, they're trying to make the number go up. And so they're doing this. And so I was asked basically, what is your first principle to why you're against MicroStrategy? Because obviously, I'm using the word here. Obviously, it can't fail. It literally can't go tits up, because he's going to buy all this Bitcoin. There's going to be less supply, so the price has to go up bigly, because no one's going to sell it, right? As long as everyone listens and doesn't sell their Bitcoin, then there's none to sell. Nobody can short it. Or if they do short it, they'll have to buy it at prices, and we're all going to be super, super rich. $1 million Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe. Okay, maybe. But my first principle is this: leverage, which is what he's doing. If you look at the actual Bitcoin on their books of MicroStrategy versus the share price, it's roughly, depending, a 2x ratio. The reason for this, I'm going to steal man the case, is because when you buy a share of MicroStrategy, you are buying into the strategy of buying more Bitcoin. In other words, if you pay $350 for a share of MicroStrategy, now you're essentially getting $175 worth of Bitcoin. It's less than you're paying for it, but it's with the promise that Saylor, MicroStrategy, is going to keep buying Bitcoin in the future without you having to buy any more Bitcoin, so that at some point in a future date, you will already have twice as much Bitcoin that you own by owning shares of MicroStrategy, because of what the share price is. Now, that's all predicated on Bitcoin going up, which will happen if he can buy all the Bitcoin, which will happen if he can just buy enough of it to, trigger, supply crunch, which will happen as long as people keep giving him money, which will happen as long as people still think that Bitcoin is going to go up. So it's all based on speculation. But my first principle here is that leverage is a double-edged sword. Or let's just put it this way. Leverage is an amplifier. Let's make it a tautology. Leverage is an amplifier. And it's a double-edged sword. That means you can cut both ways. It can be very good or it can be very bad. Now, do I think that Michael Saylor is using leverage wisely? Well, if you look at his purchases, he's pretty much proud of. I used to have a chart of. Let me see. Can I find this chart? Let's see. Low layout. Do I have MicroStrategy? I used to have my. I should have saved it. I think I had it on MicroStrategy. I need to go back and do it. But anyway, there was a chart of when he has bought Bitcoin, and he did his largest purchase ever before the current years when he was getting all this money. He did the largest purchase ever, basically in February of 21. So here, I mean, he spent more than he ever had before here, which now looks great. I think it was like almost $2 billion. But at the time, again, this was based on borrowed money, which he still owes on. That'll come due in a couple of, I think, next year and next year. This is all basically on borrowed money, by the way. All this Bitcoin's bought on borrowed money. The rest now is based on convertibles. But that was, if you go back and just look at, the chart as it was basically any time before this bull run, spending the most money you've ever spent on Bitcoin at this point looks not very wise. But then, now he's unabated. He's saying he's going to keep buying the high of Bitcoin. He's just going to keep buying the high. That's his exit plan. It's just more Bitcoin. So he's not really being wise about it. He's basing it all on his sentiment rather than, well, maybe I need to use this leverage wisely. So we also know that Bitcoin at a minimum, let's see, from the high to low here, it was down 77%. From the high to low here, it was down about 80%, actually more if we go back here, 84%. From the high to low back here, it was down about, again, 84%. Now, this time it's different, but, I mean, do we have any reason to believe that it's going to be different? I mean, you can say that. You can come up with reasons, but what we've seen from price is that it's not different. And so if we just say that at a minimum, Bitcoin's going to go down 70%, and right now MicroStrategy is trading at a 2x premium to Bitcoin, 70 IQ math would say that 70% down times 2 is greater than 100%. And all of MicroStrategy's, stock price is based on the speculation that this strategy is going to work. I shouldn't have to tell you guys as traders that sentiment, market sentiment, is a very fickle and big thing. And so it stands to reason that if this stops working, it's going to blow up the company. And just as a quick reminder to the let's see. I gotta say, I am actually. Well, no. Give me AI. No. Give me AI. Interpretation. This does it on my regular account. Fuck. How do you make AI? How do you make Google do automatic? Oh, there we go. Turn on. I agree. Okay. Try an example. Okay. No, do my thing. Fuck it. Usually when I type in it, Jesus. Okay. Anyway, it normally brings. It usually does AI automatically bring up. Anyway, so their revenue is down, and their net profit margin is minus 300%. It's actually going. The revenue is going down. The expenses are going up. Basically, their core business of business intelligence software is not making money. They are all in on Bitcoin, so they don't really actually have cash coming in. In fact, they used to have cash. I guess they don't have any on hand now. So they're basically all in at this point. They got nothing to fall back on except Bitcoin going up. And as a trader, I'm always looking for asymmetric risk. Now, a lot of people think that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million. Think that the risk is asymmetric to the upside. As I said earlier, as we start looking at the cycle, the time of the cycle, we're getting a couple of, just time-wise, we got about 6 more months potentially on the cycle. And we maybe have a couple of tens of $1,000s left in potential upside. Unless something fundamentally changes, unless some sovereign nation buys Bitcoin for a strategic reserve, which is what I'm being told that is going to happen by people that want it to happen. We'll see. But anyway, that's where my first principles on my short, which I'm doing with puts, by the way, comes from MicroStrategy. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, Cynthia Loomis, she's been a big crypto advocate for a long time. God bless her. But she is, of course, a senator from one of the states where it's the easiest in terms of number of voters to get to vote for you. Wyoming has the least people of any state. And also MicroStrategy, if you recall, someone proposed to the board that they add MicroStrategy to their balance sheet, and less than 1% of shareholders voted on it. Kind of a resounding no. It's really fun to talk about Bitcoin at this point when it's the best performing asset of the year, which it is. But it's not really that fun when you're trying to do accounting on it when it's down 70% and you're trying to explain why the hell do we do this and try not to get fired if you're a CFO. A lot of people, believe it or not, that are in positions managing lots and lots of money for companies and shareholders don't want to put their money in something that has a drawdown of potentially 70%. They're okay with inflation. They can manage that. It's just once you take a step outside of these Bitcoin communities, you find that people really don't care that much. In fact, one of the memes I saw on Reddit over the last week or so was someone talking about how Bitcoin. They went around their office telling everybody, "Hey, did you know that Bitcoin made a new high?" And no one in the office cared. And their interpretation of that was, "We're early, bros. Retail hasn't even begun." Spoiler alert: you're retail, buddy. And it's your other interpretation could be that people just aren't that interested. And one of the things that's going to work against Bitcoin, I really believe psychologically, is the 6 figures. I mean, it's already having a little bit of trouble here. I'm not saying it's going to stop, but the reason that stocks split is such that people can more easily buy them. Not only just playing options, but also just psychologically. I mean, you already had MicroStrategy split. You've had Tesla split. Which, by the way, I promised I would talk about, and I need to. We're getting kind of into the live stream here, but I'll start wrapping up the crypto portion in just a second. But Bitcoin can't split its price, and the Bitcoin maxi community has done a really good job of fostering this saying of stacking sats, which makes it a lot more palpable or palatable, for people to accumulate Bitcoin in the smallest quantities, the 0000, the 8-digit number, which is the Satoshi. But not everyone's really going to understand that. And I try to at all times go down to the 70 IQ person. I try to imagine myself as a person who has maybe a few more IQ points than I do, maybe about 75, and I try to think about what are they looking at, how are they going to interpret this. And they're going to look at like, $100,000 for Bitcoin? Nah, pass. Plus it's just big market caps. Anyway, all right, let's talk about Ethereum real quick because this was something that came up on somebody. I posted this on my Discord when I took it. It was like 2 weeks ago in this run up. I actually made a post about it. I've talked about it in past live streams, but I'll give a quick recap of it. So big thing happened. So the volume profile level for the whole gobbledygook of 2024 was at 3506. And when it was doing a thing, it had a short-term 50% level and a spike. Indicator is free. If you just send me a message on Discord, I will give it to you. Basically what I wanted to see, or what I like to see, was price spiking, hitting that level, holding it, and that is a trade. And I was able to take it for a take profit of basically close to the high up here. out at 3,700. I took another one at I think about 3,900. Yeah, always selling too early. That's me. And then went all the way up to basically test that all-time high for the the high of the year, and then crap out. Okay, and then what was really cool was price, and I talked about this. Price once again held that same level. Mwah, I love to see it. I love to see it. That's why I don't trail stops. I still had a small contract on, basically to this point right here, stop, original stop, and it finally got stopped out basically last week or yesterday. Well, yeah. So, yeah, Thursday, yesterday. And so that trade's dead. It's done. And someone came on my Discord and said, like, hey, I'm going to put an order at 3,500 again. I'm like, again, spidey senses. I just kind of have a feel for this kind of stuff. I wouldn't want it to come back again. I'm happy with my stop being there, but it shouldn't go lower. And of course, it did stop out. But I'm not going to say that it's bearish yet. There's a note that I have to make. And this goes back to Ichimoku. All right. And just a quick little recap. So when I look at Ichimoku, let's forget about the red in the line here. Let's just look at the cloud. One dynamic level of support resistance is that cloud. We're on the daily chart here. And whenever it touches the top of the cloud, that's a bullish sign, especially when it spikes like this. Okay. Let me look at an example from Bitcoin's history. It's a kind of a binary rule that I look at. So this was actually on the Bitcoin weekly chart. Again, touching the top of the cloud. What that means is this. Let me just kind of lay this up. So touch top, high probability break, high or low, in this case high. And then if it touch or breaks the bottom of the cloud, low prob break high. And that just makes sense. It's because the momentum has faded to a point. And so, Bitcoin gave us a very good example of that. So you can see, remove all 5 drawings, take away that indicator, make a big chart. So you had a case on the weekly chart here where when Bitcoin finally, got to the basically kind of skimmed along the top of the cloud there, it did break the high barely in 2021. But then when it started touching it here, that's when you had bad trouble. But then on September of this year, touched the high of the cloud, and we are here. And so that's just the kind of way that I've always stuck with Ichimoku. I really like the cloud part of Ichimoku for this kind of analysis, for bullish or bearish. And it seems to be very, very effective over the years, especially in the long-term charts like daily and weekly. And so that is what you basically had Ethereum doing, so you need to watch it. It also came down and held the weekly 50% of the trend, which is another validating factor. 50% basically would start from the beginning up to here, and roughly it held it there at 32. A lot of liquidations there probably. And so right now, we're not in bearish territory on Ethereum, but it's a little dangerous. All right, last thing I want to talk about is what I did this week. This is on Tesla. This is a Thinkorswim chart because I use this for IV. I have a few hundred shares, and what I've been looking at here, I didn't even see this till the end of the day. They sold this thing off. So what I'm paying attention to here is the bottom of the chart. And on Tesla, the implied volatility, at least earlier in the day, was what is still now. The IV percentile is 99. That means it's good to sell options. So if you just don't care about price, like a lot of options traders do, the implied volatility basically is the overall price of the options, is the tide lifting them or lowering them. And so it made a good opportunity for me to sell calls. I had been selling calls as a strategy since 2023 on Tesla to kind of be a little greedy and make a little bit extra money. But I, of course, got my ass handed to me in this run up because basically I had to capitulate, I had to close them at a loss. Just had to do it on 11/8. I had 280 calls, and I pretty much don't want to give up my Tesla shares. I don't want them to get called away. So I basically just had to capitulate in, take some losses, and glad I did. But now is the time to go back and start doing that again. And so I did 550 calls. So we'll hope I don't regret that. I like having the calls because when Tesla goes up, I have in the back of my mind like, ooh, I don't want it to go up too much. And so it kind of dials down my emotion a little bit, believe it or not, because I have this bearish hedge that I also have to worry about. And so it kind of keeps me nice and even a level. I really actually like it. All right, so I'm going to try to keep this under an hour because people actually tend to watch those when I do over an hour. PFE, yeah, well, let me look at these symbols real quick. I'm actually trying to decide, Zygor, if I want to buy Intel or PFE for my niece and nephew. Their parents have a custodial account, and I'm basically just putting money. I buy them like regular presents like Lego and squishy toys, but I want them to think back on their fun uncle, investor Wes, and I want them to say like, hey, wow, he gave me a bunch of beer money for college, or hopefully they learn the advantage of uh, having money in a stock for 15 years and what it can do. So yeah, I might actually do both. I might actually do both Intel and PFA because I'm a little less worried about it. The two stocks that I think I bought them another stock. I wanted to buy them Philip Morris, but I felt that would be kind of like morally wrong. Maybe I did. I think I did buy Philip Morris. I think I got over that. And Tesla was 2023, I think. And then Disney, I think, Disney was another one that I bought them, I think, at the beginning of 2024. Yeah, so so that's been the three picks basically. Well, I hope they don't smoke cigarettes, but I guess they can make money off of it. All right, what are some other ones to look at? Take a look at Hood. Again, fundamentally I like Hood actually, and not just because the price is going up, it's because they have the best margin rates for margin trading. I thought that Robinhood Gold was just going to be like a kind of a scam. You pay $5 a month for it, and you get to trade on margin. But they give way better margin rates. I think their margin rates are probably now that the Fed lowered rates are probably getting under 6%. But if you go to Schwab or one of these more reputable firms, they're charging over 10% interest on your margin rates. And bear in mind, like people don't even think about that when they're trading on margin. They don't even think about. I mean, just answer on the price. It's bullish. It's going up. Hodl. You basically if you have owned Robinhood through the last 2 years of Melee's, you deserve to let this thing make you very wealthy. Kind of like Palantir. Good God, I have 200 shares of Palantir. I bought it like $5, and I kind of forgot. No, not 5. That's 2. That's not. It didn't go. I think it was like 8. Yeah, 8 seems more. Yeah, 8. So I bought them at 8, and yeah. Don't you wish you had more, dude? I just hope it's kind of one of those things where it's like they say about Microsoft and Amazon and Nvidia. If you bought $1,000, 15, 20 years ago, it's worth $1 million. Let's hope so for Palantir. But anyway, Hood. It's good, but like I said, they're fantastic. In fact, I really want to do a live stream based account. I think I want to wait until we get a little bit more of a dip in the market. By the way, overall, this is the last live stream of the year. What do I think is going to happen? Well, first of all, let's recap. All right, let me make sure I think somebody. Okay, no two best wanted to look for an outlook. All right, so that's what I need to kind of going to go back to. So this is the end of the year. I wanted to kind of close. Yeah, two pass. I got you, man. SCHD. I think I said last week SCHD is good. I own SCHD, but really like VU, just a straight up straight up at S&P 500. I say ES because I think futures. A straight up S&P 500 low cost India index really outperforms it unless you want to earn dividends. So yeah. Do potential Trump tariffs impact your outlook? No. Dude, I know better than to take Trump seriously. I love the guy for his comedy, but when it comes to any politician promising anything, you and I have been on this earth about as long as each other. You should know better. If it happens, it happens. Okay, we'll buy the rumor, sell the news here. Okay, that's what this whole thing is predicated on. But let me go back to finish wrapping this, putting a bow on this. So for the year. All right. So I was just looking really casually at what this year had and had in store. And one of the things that I kind of found useful was looking like how many all-time highs did we make this year? And so the answer to that is based on a month on the SPY. Okay. I did this research for 2021, and what I found was that in the year of 2021, there were 12 monthly all-time highs. In other words, every single month of 2021 made a new all-time high. How many times has that happened in the stock market's history? 0. And what did we have in 2022? Pretty down year. In hindsight, it was obvious, like most things are. How many years got close? 11. Excuse me, 2. 2 years in the last 100 years. Now I was looking all the way back to, as far as data would allow me, about 100 years basically. 2 years had 11 all-time highs monthly. In other words, only one month in. So how many did we make this year? So basically, let me do a quick look right here. Is this an all-time high? I think I came up with 10, but I may have been looking at futures. Let's see. From this high to this high. No. So April didn't. So 10 months out of the 12 of 2024 made a new all-time high. Very bullish, but doesn't give me cause for concern. January, traders and investors, is a killer month in both uses of the word of trading. It's where everyone makes their positions. It's where traders have all these big spreads to trade in. It is gangbusters. And you can either make your money in January or you can dig yourself in a hole. It's up to you. But get ready. Get some good sleep over the holidays. There may be some still movements and stuff, but there is nothing really presenting itself to me. There's FUD out there every day. The media publishes something saying how the market's going to crash for whatever reason. I'm ready for it. I'm waiting for it. If it does, I think like a lot of people, I've got money tucked away in bonds, which are pretty secure in the capital that I can buy, which is probably why the market, any crashes will be probably not that bad because so many people still have money on the sidelines to buy any major dip. I got asked this week, are you looking to buy into this dip we had this week? And I was like, I might have missed it, but that's okay. Typically what I want to see is about a 5% pullback, and we didn't quite get that. We got about 4.6. If you wait for a 5% pullback like we got in the summer, there was a 9%, and we got in April, we got 5.82%. In any given year, on average, you get 2 to 3 minus 5% pullbacks. And so we may be coming up on that third one as we go into the Christmas and into New Year's. Maybe get that 5%, maybe a good opportunity. I don't know. We shall see. But it's been a pretty standard year. Actually, no, I'm wrong. It has not been a standard year. It has been a over bullish year. Let's just start from here to here. Let's just say it closes now up 26%. The average returns on the stock market, which keep going up, are like what? Used to be 8. Now it's getting in the double digits because of the last couple of years. It's been a good year. I hope it's been a good year for all you guys too. So, one last thing to look at. I'm over an hour. See, what I find is if I do these live streams under 1 hour, I get almost twice as many views than later. I think people look at the hour and they're kind of like, oh, no, too much of him talking for me to consume. British American Tobacco. You might have had me look at this before. Ugh. Look at that level, 38. That we've got a volume profile and a 50%. It's already come up and held it. This is a weekly chart, by the way. Just price-wise, that would give me some concerns. Are you getting a good dividend for this? You should. It's a tobacco company. 733. Just a quick. Divided by, what are we at? 36. 8% dividend yield. Okay. I'm cool. I mean, I'm cool with it, but I don't like the price action on it. I would more want it to give me a pullback, and I'd rather have that 9%. I'd rather have that 9% dividend yield, as you'll probably get at a lower price. But like any tobacco company, that's a good dividend yield, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. What's up, Zishan? Let's see, PBR. Is that Pabst Blue Ribbon, or it's Petrolio Basirio? Let's do Ichimoku on this. It's probably just kind of bouncing around. Let's look at a monthly. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I mean, it's bullish. You're kind of at a 50% right now. It's just kind of a wonky chart, and I don't know much about it. Let's see. WM Waste Man. I love waste management. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I've owned this thing for years. A little bit of rebalancing, I would call it, going on right here. But this is a monthly chart. Do I want to buy more? I'd have to do some more research on it and see it come back to a level I like. But right now, I'm just kind of holding waste management. It's on the monthly. It's giving you a little bit of a kind of a. You know what? I'm not going to talk bad about it. I love it. Hodl, long-term hold on waste management. But I'll look for a trade. And I like buying stuff like that I already own, buying more of it. But yeah. All right. So Ave. I tend to really like things at big discounts. Contrarian. Okay, looks like we looked at this last week. 50% level, 156. Wait, no. We got to update this. Hang on. It's there. I like it. I do. This is a weekly chart. That's a nice pullback, and looks like it's coming and hodling at a pullback level. I like it. I like this. I like this for a long. This would be one that I would throw into my Livestream portfolio if and when I get that thing set up. May start next year, and just see what happens. I would put a very rigorous stop and hold myself to it, and then that's how we would manage it. Boeing, dude, I don't want to get on a Boeing plane. Do I want to buy their stock? Like, if you showed me a good technical setup, maybe, but I mean, it's breaking out on the daily, but I mean, I can't get over the fact that they needed their 737 MAX to make them profitable, and it has had so many problems. This company is losing so much money, and the thing that was going to get them out of this problem, they had the earnings surprise, woo! The thing that was going to get them out of their hole was the thing that has doors flying off in midair. And it's because of cost cutting. I think I don't know, the report hasn't come out yet, but the speculation was it's because they outsource, like something like they were installing. They sent this out to a third party to install Wi-Fi, and so the tech company that installed the Wi-Fi, they open all the doors, including those for ventilation, so it doesn't get really hot in this metal tube while they're working, and they just didn't put it back on right. So again, that comes from cost cutting. And fundamentally, I mean, I am kind of letting that affect my trading. I'm just not that interested in Boeing. Let's see. I don't think it could be a discount. I don't know. All right, last one, fast. You got your 50%. Looks like let's look at the 50% of the trend from July. Need a little more. I want 72. Give me 72, and I might get interested in that. Kind of in a volume profile dead zone, though. Actually, no, that's a gap. It looks like it's going to try to fill this gap. Yeah, 72. Let's get it to 72, because if you notice, you've got a gap here, and then really the open is there, which is also kind of the gap. Yeah, let's give it a little more. Let's think a little more bearish on fast, if you really want to. It's getting there. Did it touch? Not quite. Be patient. Give it a few more dollars. You might miss it. Hashtag not financial advice, but I want to wait. I'll set an alert on Thinkorswim. All right. It's just I try not to let my biases get in the way of trading. I try. I don't say I always succeed, But, when it comes to a company that I particularly don't like, I can definitely say no. So we'll see. I mean, the best all-time highs are not made on bad news, and all-time lows are not made on good news. But it's Airbus. I just love Airbuses because typically they have like their own phone chargers at every seat, whereas a lot of Boeings don't. A lot of older ones don't, and that's where they're flying. But honestly, the older Boeings, they don't have doors flying off. So anyway, all right, guys. Thanks for hanging out this Friday. Hope you have a good weekend, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a happy holidays if you're a heathen. I'm just kidding. And I may or may not be back for the 27th. We'll see. It may not be the last one. I'm just traveling, so we will see. I hope I can be back for you guys. But if I don't, have a good New Year. Bye-bye.